Brad with Lucky 7 Racing, and the car is Golfing Done, an automotive event that happens in San Diego. I'm actually on location in Arizona, of all things, this weekend, and I'm in a 2020 Jeep Cherokee. So I figured I'd show you guys a little bit of the uniqueness and the ins and outs of one of these vehicles when you get a hold of Jeep's offering as a mid-size SUV. So let's take a look at what some of the unique features are and get into it a little bit. Now, the Jeep Cherokee over the years has actually evolved from what used to be kind of their entry-level SUV compared to, say, like the Grand Cherokee that Jeep offered, and it's come a long way from a technology standpoint and some of the offerings that they actually have for the vehicle. Now, the one that we're testing today is actually an inline-4 motor, and it's backed by a 9-speed automatic transmission. And there's a few different engine options. There's the 2.0-liter 4-cylinder, there's the 2.4-liter 4-cylinder, which is the one that we've got, and then there's also the 3.2-liter V6, which I actually recommend a little bit. This 2.4-liter isn't too bad from an efficiency standpoint. I'm getting pretty good mileage out of it, but there's just not a lot of power here. So if you want something with a little bit more go behind it, I'd suggest maybe looking at what the 3.2-liter V6 option would be. Now, it's a front-wheel drive line as well. And with a 2,000-pound towing capacity, that's really not too bad for the vehicle. I mean, you can tow a small boat with it, maybe a couple of jet skis. You can maybe tow a small trailer with some of your weekend project in there, but you're certainly not going to tow a project vehicle with it. So it's something to keep in mind as you take a look at this. And speaking of towing a boat or maybe even jet skis, a front-wheel drive vehicle might not be the most ideal way to go, because when you're coming up out of a boat dock, if it's wet and you've got a front-wheel drive vehicle and you've got more weight over the back axle, it's something that you don't want that weight transfer to be taken off your drive wheels. So the front-wheel drive option may not necessarily be the best way to go if you're going to tow with one of these, but it is more of a cheaper option. Now, on the aftermarket, these can be found for anywhere from about $22,000 to maybe $25,000. It just happens to be the way the car market is right now. And it's one of the reasons why I'm also in a 2020 and not one of the more newer vehicles, is because you just can't find one. I mean, every dealership that I talk to and everyone that I know within the automotive industry says everything is anywhere from 6 months to over a year out before you can actually get the new vehicle. So you might be a little bit more easier to find one that's a little bit older. It's maybe got a little bit more miles on it, but you're able to get it at a little bit of a lesser cost, or so you hope, because of the aftermarket right now, with the price of everything being what it is, it may not be that viable to find something that's all that inexpensive on the used market. Now, thinking more into what goes on with this vehicle and some of the technology that Jeep has put into it, you do have all your audio-visual controls right here in front of you on the dash. It's a small touch screen. It's a nice look. You can actually see it pretty easily, even in the bright sunlight that I've got today facing me, and with my sunglasses on, I can still see the screen pretty well. You've got your audio-visual controls. You've got your HVAC controls as well, with your air conditioning and your heating. You've also got other phones, cell phone setup controls, your Bluetooth, other settings within the vehicles, all right here in front of you. The downside to that is you have to look away from the road to be able to see what you're looking at. It's not exactly the most ideal situation. You do have some other controls here that are on the steering wheel. Of course, you have your cruise control set up, but you also have your audio visual and your volume control on the back side of the steering wheel. So that's nice if you don't have to worry about what channel you're on, if you're listening to the radio or you're listening to Bluetooth and you want to kind of flip through things. But you still have to take your eyes off the road to really look at what's going on. It's not exactly the most ideal situation, especially with a smaller screen. So it's something you may want to think about as you look further into one of these and the potential for picking one up. Now, you still have your standard visual in front of you with your RPM and your speedometer. You also have a couple other parameters of what the vehicle is doing in front of you as well. You can go through a small screen that's in between the two gauges, and it'll show you things like air temperature and the tires, or tire pressure, I should say. It's also got your oil life, coolant temperature, transmission temperature, which on the 100-degree day that we're having here in Arizona, that's not a bad thing to look at, especially on the road that we're on here along the Salt River. This is a pretty twisty road here along Bush Highway. It's a great road to test vehicles on because I've got some elevation changes. I've got some twisty turns that I'm going through. It's actually a pretty fun road to drive. I'm glad I'm actually getting to experience it as a driver, because usually when I'm in town, we're here with family, it's always someone else driving, because my brother and I will come out here and do a little fishing. But today, I'm out here test driving this, and we're going to take a look at what this is like. Now the suspension in the vehicle is somewhat soft. I mean, it is a Jeep. I do expect it to have some sort of give. The steering feedback to me has been pretty decent. I mean, it's a little on the soft side, but it does give me good feedback and tell me what the chassis is doing from a driving standpoint, to where I've got pretty good control over the vehicle, especially over some of these twistier corners and this canyon type element that I'm testing it in. I mean, this is a pretty good proving ground for testing the vehicle. Unfortunately, we're not going to really be able to take it off-road because this isn't really a vehicle that's necessarily trail rated. And you probably could if you wanted to, maybe something that's real easy, but you never really want to take it into something that, say, like the Wrangler or the Rubicon is more or less designed for. This was really designed to be your A to B vehicle, to put your buddies in the car, go run errands, go to the store. You can fit a golf bag in the back. You can fit some fishing equipment in the back as well if you're going to go fishing and have kind of your day adventure on the weekend. But it's not really something that you're going to really do anything real extreme with. And that's kind of the way the Cherokee has always been. Jeep has always had it as sort of your entry level into the SUV market. And of course, as things have evolved over the years, and as Jeep has tried to revamp the brand a little bit and be able to bring some of its iconic following over to the product, the Cherokee has kind of come along with that. And as technology and the vehicles have changed, of course, that's always changed as well. So as you drive along the road here, it's a pretty nice day. I mean, the vehicle is doing what I need it to do. It's just cruising. I mean, that's really all you do with these things. The feedback to me, like I said, has been pretty decent going down the road. I don't have too much slop in the steering, which is definitely a nice thing. And I'm comfortable here in the driver's seat. As you can see, I've got leather all around me. It's got a pretty nice dashboard on it as well. There's some other creature comforts as well with storage. You've got kind of this weird storage bin that's up here on the top of the dash. Now, on a hot day in Arizona, I don't know what you would want to put in the top of this thing. You can maybe sit a set of sunglasses in there, but you certainly wouldn't want to put anything valuable like a cell phone or anything that's got any sort of electronic to it, because you've got a lot of heat coming off the dash, especially a black one like what we've got here. You've got a lot of storage here in the armrest just underneath, which is really nice. It's nice and deep. You can put quite a bit in there. You've also got some other features here in front of you where you've got a USB hookup, you've got an aux cord hookup, you've got a 12-volt output hookup. So you have multiple items that you have to charge. You can actually do it all from right here. And it's really nice, especially if you have multiple people in the vehicle, you need to keep everything well charged. There's also a USB hookup inside the center console storage compartment as well, so you can hook up another item in there if need be. So it's kind of a nice feature to be able to have. Everything is well within reach. You've got volume control and your HVAC controls that are within reach as you're driving. So that's a nice feature as well, especially for someone like me, who's a little bit taller. I can easily reach things, but someone who's shorter and something where they don't have to stretch across the vehicle, be able to reach what they're trying to get to. Now with the 9-speed automatic that we're actually testing, we also have the option to be able to put it in manual mode, and you can control your shift points as well. So it gives you a little bit more performance. But like I said, with only 180 horsepower of the 2.4 liter, you really don't get that much performance out of it. Now, I get it. I know it's not a hot rod. It's not something that's designed to go fast. But in a vehicle that weighs the way that it does, I would want something that's got a little bit more go to it, and something that can kind of get you out of the way when you're trying to at least merge into traffic, or at least try and get on the freeway, something like that. It's a little bit different here in Arizona compared to California. The driving abilities in Arizona aren't quite what they are in California with the way everyone drives, so it's a little bit of a testament to where you would actually use this vehicle versus some other areas in the world. Now, storage-wise, as I mentioned, you've got a little bit here on the dash, and then, of course, you've got room in the back to be able to put a few different items. You can probably fit a set of golf bags back there. You can definitely go to the grocery store with this vehicle and fit plenty back there behind the seats. Or if you wanted to run to the hardware store, you need to make a quick run to Home Depot or Lowe's or wherever you got to go for the weekend, you can fit quite a bit back there. The back seats do fold down, so you can give yourself a little bit more extra room, which is nice for this kind of a vehicle. So if you really got to put something larger in the back, you've got the room to do it, which isn't too bad of a thing, because a lot of other mid-size SUVs, when you need more room, you have to put the seats back to be able to really put something back there. Whereas with this, you don't need to really do that. You can fit quite a bit in the back, which you'll see a little bit later on in the video as I show some of the other features of the vehicle and some of the uniqueness that's back there and some of the room that you've got. Now, on a day like today when it's 100 degrees out, I've got the air conditioning on. You can't really hear it, but it does do a really good job of being able to keep things cooled off in here, which is a plus for this kind of climate. I mean, it's like hot all the time here in Arizona versus California where I'm at, where hot to us is like 85 degrees. I mean, we do have some major advantages of being where we are there and not have to deal with some of the climates that they have here in Arizona. So it's nice to be able to have a good air conditioning in this vehicle, and the fact that this one's really working well for me is nice, because you step outside and it's basically like a sauna no matter where you're at. It just happens to be how it is this weekend. As we go down the road and experience some of the elevation changes and some of the windier, twistier parts of the road here with this car, it's a pretty comfortable ride. In fact, going down the freeway, it just cruises along really nice. And that really just plays into the fact that this has always been sort of an A to B kind of vehicle. You don't really necessarily take it like off-road, like I said earlier, with, say, like a Wrangler or a Rubicon, because those are a little bit more trail-rated versus this. Now, you could take it off-road, essentially, because it does have a little bit of travel in the suspension, but it's nothing major. I wouldn't recommend really trying to take this down a real heavy trail. And I'm not as familiar with the off-road world, so some of you out there may be a little bit more experienced with it. Maybe you've had some opportunities to take your Cherokee down a dirt trail or take it off-road and be able to experience that aspect of it. There really just isn't time, unfortunately, to do that this weekend with this vehicle. So it's probably something that, if you want to experience that, or if you're looking for something along that road, talk to other people that actually have the Cherokee and have experienced that, because unfortunately I'm just not going to be able to do that with this video. But for now, I'm going to enjoy my drive. I'm going to finish up where I'm headed here. I'm going to get ready to go play a little bit of golf with the family today. So I hope you guys enjoyed this quick video. Of course, comment down at the bottom anything you want to know. You can always ask me questions, and hopefully I can answer them back for you properly and as quick as possible. I really enjoy doing these for you guys, so I hope I get to see you on the next one. For now, this is Brad with Lucky 7 Racing and the Cars, Coffee, and Donut Automotive event that happens in San Diego. I'm on location in Arizona. I'll see you guys on the next video.